Nadeshot gets real with CDL, FaZe, Simp, LA Thieves. I was watching some of this last night, but I fell asleep. I didn't get through all this. I was skipping through it. I was looking at some of the timestamps. Why Nate is unhappy with the CDL?
Product.
Well, how do you guys feel about, speaking on that, the CDL kind of trying to implement more Warzone? Especially because it's supposed to be an event, right, mid-season. It's like I don't know for sure what it is, but do you think that is a good move or a bad move for the competitive side of things? Because obviously Warzone has been very popular for the last 2 years.
Yeah,
it's tough to have these conversations publicly because I've had conversations internally with the team at Activision
Leak it. Come on, leak some.
That lead the CDL. It's a lot of great people. Look, I mean, we went very public, me and Hector and a bunch of community members about a month and a half ago, and we basically we tore the whole building down, and we were very vocal about our frustrations with the CDL
good.
and how the competitive landscape has been
good.
managed. And I have heard rumbles that Warzone is going to continue to be a priority from a competitive standpoint in hoping and bringing in new community members that are interested in competitive Call of Duty. I don't agree with that thesis. I don't agree with that strategy. I think Warzone and competitive Call of Duty are completely different products and should be treated as such. I understand the frame of thought if you don't understand the nuances of competitive Call of Duty.
I agree.
But nobody is going to watch a Warzone tournament with CDL players and then think to themselves, oh, I got to go watch them play on stage in game modes and maps that I'm not even familiar with because I don't play the multiplayer game. It starts with ranked play. There has to be ranked play from launch. The events need to start December, not March. We just need to use the opportunity, strike when the iron's hot, and I don't agree with the Warzone strategy.
Yeah, I mean, I share a similar sentiment.
I agree.
I think the integration where they
Nate shots to go. Can we get a weight shot at chat? I agree with that.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was
cool. I gotta give them credit for that.
I think it could be a cool way to maybe try to push some people, but to Matt's point, I think the conversion rate of your average Warzone player to a CDL viewer is slim to none. It is such a different product. If it didn't have the Call of Duty name in front of it, it wouldn't even be the same game, essentially. So I just think it's something that we need to sort of accept that as a different product and find a way to make people care about competitive Call of Duty.
I just hope they don't, even though I kind of think that they're going this way, they don't only prioritize Warzone because it is bringing in the viewership and there is, a lot of companies that want to get involved with it. I don't want competitive COD to get pushed to the side.
Yeah.
Well, I know you can't say nothing about that. I can, though.
Can we talk about?
Because Matt will get fired.
Can I bring up a topic that's not on script?
Yeah, dude. I think at the end of the day, I mean, everybody's right. What Ian said at the end, Call of Duty getting pushed to the side, I just don't see that happening. There's way too much money invested for them to just push it to the side. There's a lot of money there. There's a lot. I'm gonna keep watching. I will. But there's a lot of money there, and I think the most important thing is just taking the right steps and heading into the right direction. And I think a lot of the stuff that Nadeshot's sitting right now in his podcast, or he's saying right now, I think he was saying, all in the meetings. When he's with these higher up meetings, I'm sure Nadeshot has really been very vocal about some of the things that he's thought, in the recent few years in the competitive Call of Duty League for sure.
I'm just.
Now I kind of want to talk about the kickoff event and the matchups, but I want to talk about Simp.
Sure.
I really do.
Oh, I already know what you're going to say.
Oh, shit.
I don't know what's going on.
I
in his
beat
head.
his little. No.
Listen. I am a huge fan of Simp, and I'm going to let you guys talk, but I just need to let me finish. I need to get this whole thought out. I am such a big fan of Simp just because of his raw talent. And he reached out to me back in the day on Black Ops 4 when he was still part of E United saying, I wanted to play with 100 Thieves. I want to be on the team. And at the time, we didn't have the opportunity.
You tell me I could have had Simp, but instead I had Octane?
No, pretty much. No, he just wasn't
you
of
might have
age
been
yet.
gone for Simp.
Listen, I'm not trying to preach. I'm not trying to tell Simp what to do. But I'm just going to lend unsolicited advice. Simp, you are too talented and you are too good at the game. And your impact that you have on this competitive community in 2 short years has been so incredibly massive. Whatever you're doing on social and trying to play this villain role or clapping back at individuals. Of course, you don't want to stay silent. It sucks to get negative tweets. When people are ganging up on you, there's no worse feeling. I've been there before. I promise you understand it. But I'm telling you, brother, long run for your career, put a smile on, keep pushing, and stay positive. Like, that sounds very cliche. And
that's good
you can
advice.
take your
That's good
shots
advice.
when the opportunity rises
That's really good
in the
advice.
right moment, but it's got to be tasteful, and there has to be humility behind it. I just think that you're doing yourself and the amount of skill that you have in those thumbs of yours and that head of yours, you are doing yourself an incredible disservice to your legacy by clapping back on people on Twitter and talking shit to other players, and really just it's uncharacteristic of what I've seen from Simp, because in his first 2 years he was doing so good, and he was like the kid that everybody loved to love.
I mean, to play devil's advocate, I think part of it has been like he's been so damn dominant the past 2 years. Like, he's talking his shit, and I think it goes back to what you said about.
I mean, bro. Let's just call it how it is. Simp's acting like a dickhead because everybody just cooks him all day. I mean, Simp gets cooked on Reddit. He gets cooked on Twitter. He gets cooked even when he wasn't talking shit. People were always cooking Simp. I think that doesn't. You can't. That doesn't. What Nadeshot's saying is completely true. I think what Nadeshot's saying is true. I think Simp can learn from it, from all this stuff, and kind of how to try to ignore that stuff and just kind of push through it. But I mean, I've been there where I'm responding to people who are saying stupid shit. Simp's been there. A lot of people have been there on socials, and that's what Nadeshot's doing. He's just giving them advice, like, hey, the best thing you can do is ignore that shit, put a smile on your face, and move on, right? So that's like the most important part. It's difficult, man, when you're always in the spotlight and people are always talking shit on your name or talking down on you, or even honestly taking personal shots at the kid or roasting the kid. I mean, hey, Chris is a good dude and he's really talented. I think just sometimes, maybe the social media just gets too toxic, and he starts firing back. So I think from both sides, you got to look at it from Sim's side too. You do, because, I think at the end of the day, I think the best thing you could do is what Nadeshot said. Nadeshot gave great advice. I like the advice that Nadeshot gave.
Like the tasteful thing.
I do.
And just like
but it's hard. It's a hard advice to follow sometimes, because you know me. Sometimes, Jay, somebody says something to me on Twitter, I'm popping the fuck off. And sometimes I don't like to sit there. Somebody's just gonna at me and tweet shit and say stupid shit. You want to defend yourself and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, man. Also, too, at the same time, like, what exactly is Nadeshot talking about? Exactly, is it like what is the main thing that he's talking about? Because I don't know exactly what point he's talking about, or maybe just in general.
Right,
He's talking about just Twitter in general.
Like a Kenny or a Crim6 or someone who's loud and obnoxious. Like, that's what I was talking to Crowder about. I was like, Draws is like the nicest kid in the world. He was just like tweeting about a smoke grenade or something. Simp's coming at his neck.
I see,
but it'll be good for the little rivalry, little storylines. Like, we're playing them this weekend. Should be a fun one.
I want the rivalries too. And the last thing I'll say, but even the stuff about when he got that super follow stuff enabled on Twitter, and he's like, hey, if you want to donate me money on Twitter, feel free. I'm like, brother,
I'm about to tweet on my PayPal.
You're getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you could be streaming, making even more money. You don't need to be asking your fans for cash.
The tip jar shit.
And again, that's just from a humility standpoint, and like, I don't want to sound like I'm his parent or anything like that.
Too long.
I just
didn't
want
listen.
I just want the
I
best.
just want to hear Ian's take on this, because I feel like if Twitter gave Ian a button and just donate to him, he'd be pumping that out daily.
Hey, sub to my Patreon.
The tip jar, in my opinion, I think is kind of an L take from Nadeshot. I agree with Nadeshot on the advice. The tip jar, man, I mean, Simp was just saying, hey, I got a tip jar now. If you guys want to show love, hit the tip jar. If the fans want to support him. I mean, dude, it's weird. I mean, he has it. It's there. In terms of, like, tweeting it out, I personally wouldn't tweet it out. I mean, I'd give him my tip. Okay, that's not what I meant. Chris is hidden. That's not what I meant. I personally think the tip jar was a little bit of an overreaction, because at the time, it's not like Simp came out and said, hey, donate me fucking money now. And nobody donates money unless they want to donate money. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, people could do whatever they want with their money. Like, it's the same thing with the NFT shit. How people are always up in arms about NFTs, but at the end of the day, it's like, dude, then don't invest into it. Like, don't even bother. Like, if you're not interested in the NFT or if you don't believe in what they're doing, then just keep scrolling and don't invest into it. So it is what it is. You legit don't have to give him shit. People are jealous. Nadeshot's trolling, bro. No, he's not trolling. Nadeshot's just trying to help him out. I mean, he's like you said, he's not trying to be his parent, but Nadeshot's trying to give him advice, because it's just little things.
He's still young. He's still a young kid.
Absolutely, 100%.
He's young.
We've all been there. Well, at least I know I definitely have. But you're right in the sense of, and it's not just him.
Literally scroll
Call of
past it,
Duty has
Dubs, and
always
just
been
keep
about
scrolling.
drama.
Like that's the only
within
thing.
the
Like, you know what I'm
professional
saying?
Scene, even that's why some of the biggest names on Twitter are from Call of Duty, because there's always something, whether it be Krim or Aches, in that villain role, creating some sort of unnecessary drama. But that's like who they are. Does that make sense? Like when you think of Krim, you're like, yo,
you are absolutely right.
crazy.
You're absolutely
Simp,
right.
you think of a quiet, soft-spoken kid who's
Silent
who's
assassin type of
unbelievably
guy.
talented. But I think, like you said, he's trying to push this narrative as a villain to create these storylines where it's like, just be yourself, stream, even if you don't have to act like someone you're not, but if you just are authentically you, put a smile on, he'll have so much to look forward to after his career. And he's already made like over $1 million. So yeah, I don't know why he's got the super. When he tweeted the super, so that was like,
He just put a target
good
on
message.
his back.
And the thing is you can't double down. If you mess up in the eyes of everyone, it's on the internet, it's there forever. You just got to admit, yeah, that wasn't the best. I don't know what I was doing. He doubled down and was like, what? I was just telling all the homies who support me, like, if they want to, send me some cash, you can. It was like, come on.
You're absolutely right, though. And I had this conversation with somebody else the other day, not about Simp, but I always forget that Simp is like, what, 20 years old, 19 years old?
He's young.
Dog, I am literally a decade older than him, and I had to learn through my own mistakes and my own shortcomings and my own missteps. A lot of these players are very, 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 very young, and they're thrusted into a spotlight that not a lot of people will ever get to experience.
Nadeshot's so knowledgeable, bro. He's so knowledgeable.
That's true. And I need to before I even bring stuff up on a podcast, I need to understand those things and remember I got a decade on this kid, and he's in a situation that not a lot of people will experience. And so we don't know what that feels like or what's going on in his head. So
It's
I think
good
you need
to-
to give him a benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, you definitely do. But at the same time, it's good to bring it up. Not saying that all he has is yes men by him, but it's the same thing with anyone who is super successful in entertainment, in a sport, whatever the case may be. People are going to kind of let you go off the rails and not say anything if they're a part of your circle, but it's always the people that will tell you,
Well,
like,
Optic's
no,
roster
you shouldn't
hold
do
up.
this. Like, I experienced
I want to
the
listen
same
to
things
that.
that you're going through right now because of how you're acting.
But it's one of those
It's
things.
good
it's
to
like,
have. It's not like you're coming at him maliciously.
Yeah, but it's like I could shoot him a DM, but again, unsolicited advice. I don't need to bring it up on a podcast. The shit was just something I was thinking about.
Hey, you have an odd way of thinking, but I was letting you rock.
Well, I mean, you're trying to drive some entertainment. This is the shit that people really care about.
Yeah.
It's like we can sit here and talk about Caldera and the competitive Call of Duty ecosystem all day.
Yeah,
but
Nate
this
Shot's
is
right
what
on
people
that.
Are really
Nate Shot's
wanna
right
know
on that.
more about.
Dude, at the end of the day, man, like, yeah, people want to learn about the in and outs of the community and then what's going on and this and that. So I don't mind that they're talking about it. At the end of the day, everybody loves, like, bro, nobody, like, I don't like the word hate. I like, a lot of people respect Simp. Like, there's just been a lot of storylines and a lot of shit talking. It really isn't that deep, dude. Like, it really isn't that fucking deep. Like, at the end of the day, everybody has respect for each other in the community. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I want to see what they say about this. Will Optic's roster hold up?
Not
Think-
going back to the.
Do we think this Optic roster can withstand the test of time? Because obviously we know how much.
Look at Ian's face. Look at his face. He knows the questions, dude. He knows the questions coming. Hey, dude, Wild Blue, thank you for the 2 months. I love you, too. Arsenic, thank you for the 10. And Smith Happens, thank you for the
Count they
5
have.
months, man.
And it's weird to see one of these rosters without somebody like Formal or Crim6 or somebody that you just expect to win. And obviously everybody expects Scump and Shotzi and Illy and Dashy, that roster to win.
Yeah.
But it's tough for me on the back end behind closed curtains to know who on the team is showing the most leadership. You obviously have Rambo behind you, but he can't be with you in game.
Right.
So do you guys think that with all the talent that they have throughout the year that they'll actually be able to convert that into winning events?
I think if this year is probably their best opportunity to do that with Ray, because I think in the past some of their issues were discipline and decision making related, and maybe Ray can switch some of their mindset. Like, obviously Shotzi's incredible talent there. I think, from what I saw at the kickoff, they weren't on the same page of how to play things. Their pacing was a little off, but they definitely have the talent to win. And like, I think again in this like version of the CDL, you need 4 guys who can shoot with the best of everyone and like make those crazy 2 and 3 pieces happen. But it also comes down to playing fundamentally correct, especially with these squad spawns. Like if you let one person through, or one little slip in the crack, the whole setup falls apart. Like everything spawns out. So I think that they can do it this year, but I think Ray's going to really need to get the guys disciplined, and that's something that I think we've been really good at. Is so far in Hardpoint we've been developing our system and learning it over time, and we really like play to the book we've almost created in a sense.
Shout out to Slasher. They definitely have the talent to win. Slasher by the book.
Yeah.
But I've always been a big believer in any esport that you see your ceiling very early on as a team. So I think
I completely agree with that, by the way.
So, the first 1 or 2 events, if Optic isn't a contender, I don't think that they will have a chance to win with that same 4. But that goes for any team. You could see.
I actually disagree on that. I feel like early on in the game, how do you see somebody's and it seemed like Nadeshot agreed with him, and they were all nodding their head. I disagree with that take. I feel like in the beginning of the game, like people aren't at their ceiling yet. People are still getting to get their feet wet. Some players take a while to really get going. Like look at Minnesota Rocker last year. Like they're a perfect example. Minnesota Rocker last year was super average throughout the year. Second half of the year, end of the year, they really just hit new levels. They hit new levels. They obviously with the standing change and stuff like that, but they really started feeling themselves a little bit, Even like Dallas Empire and MW. Even dude, there's a lot of teams. I think usually if a team ends up kicking up, they make a roster change though, so I can see that. Like Ian, I guess Ian is saying if this 4 isn't working early on, then this 4 might not never work. But I mean, I just don't want to do it like that. They have too much talent to say that. They have too much talent to say, oh, it's just not, like if it doesn't work, it's just not, as a team, it's just not gonna work. It's not gonna work, man. That's that. I guess that's what Ian's saying. Like early on, you can figure out if they're meshing together. But in terms of like hitting a ceiling right away, like no, I think a team can hit their ceiling at any point of the year. It could be at any point.